Hey everybody, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. We are continuing with the second delve of the Halls of Arden Vul, starting with episode 27. Halls of Arden Vul by Richard Barton, and we're using the Old School Essential System by Gavin Norman. I am your referee. My name is John, going around the horn. We have usually Mike, who is dead to us tonight, but continuing on, we have...
I'm David. I play Anwir, the third level illusionist. And dagger, flyer.
Dagger flyer. I think that's a new
Yeah,
That's pretty good. I am Matt. I play Avaricios, the left hand of Elysion.
I'm Ted. I'm playing the third level goblin, Mortis J. Gobliano. And I did really nothing useful last session. I spent the whole time blind, eating a sandwich, hanging out with a donkey. But there's worse ways to spend a huge battle for sure. I wasn't, impaled and bleeding out like
you lived it
some various other goblins I could name.
Very true. Yep. Your blindness was key to victory actually, because it triggered invisibility. Okay, yeah, so everybody, welcome back. This is the start of the second season, as it were. We're calling it Delves because, goddammit, we're not a television show.
Right.
We're playing D&D here, so we just felt that the culmination of the attack against the Halfling Plumthorn gang was a good climactic moment. So in order so that the playlist wasn't huge and vast, we decided to divide it up. So this is the start of a new playlist, but it just continues onward with episode 27 directly after the events of this battle. So that said, it is the 19th of Ligarios. It is approximately about 1 o'clock in the morning. It is late. Now, you guys have been adrenaline soaked throughout the entire day, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm cool cucumber here.
There's been a lot going on. Fought a huge battle. You're victorious. No, just a few mercenary losses, but other than that, not too shabby. Pretty thorough victory. But it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You guys are super tired. So right at the start of the session, I'm going to impose some fatigue penalties on you. All right, until you get rest. Just real easy. You're just going to take a -1 to all hit and damage rolls until you actually get a full night's rest. All right,
cool.
But you guys are feeling the weight of all of these hours of being up, and every moment of those hours being filled with fear, dread, excitement, and adrenaline. So,
and victory. Don't forget victory.
And victory, yes. And in the aftermath here, you are in the midst of the corridors that formerly belonged to the Plumthorn gang of halflings. You have at your feet, we'll say that you guys are in the northern chamber, which is where Blondvig's laboratory was. You have 5 halfling captives. Most of them were sort of the thief variety, along with Plumthorn himself. All right. The darlings are surrounding you, as well as Nicasia has, I guess she would probably be here with maybe like 2 of her captains, and like the rest of the mercenaries are probably outside in the debouchement area. And you basically are all looming over in this chamber, staring down at Plumthorn. Now, the chamber itself has the 3 sarcophagi, and there are the 3 candelabra that are actually right next to those sarcophagi, right? But in addition, there is a tripod holding a brazier in the corner, and it's giving out like enough heat and light as well. So there's also a small cook fire actually in the northwest corner that is unlit, but in general, the room itself is very well lit. Yeah.
Kind of smashed up, right? All the glass got smashed and everything.
Very smashed up, yeah. So there's a bunch of dead halfling bodies scattered on the floor, blood. Blondvig's body has basically sprawled across the entire table that's along the southern walls there, and crashed all of those pipettes, and basically there's blood just like pooling out across that table and dripping down onto the floor from the wound that he has in his neck. But there are a few vials of that green stuff that is still salvageable as well. There was 18. There appear to be 12 left that are actually viable.
How many of the thief halflings were part of the cooking operation here, out of curiosity?
Those ones were destroyed, I believe. Those were all killed or routed.
I would like to roof through Blondveg's pockets while he is bleeding out.
Sure. Where's Blondveg? Blondveg, where are you?
On the table.
So
The tiny little green man going through his pockets. It's so humiliating.
yeah, so everyone's setting the scene. Like the darlings are like they're breathing heavy. They're super excited, right? The halflings are all cringing and like got their faces down. They're all sweating. It's just the whole place kind of reeks. The darlings are wiping off that the stuff that they put onto their blades. And sheathing their weapons and clapping Acacia on the back as well. Gorand, of course, is super thrilled. And
Can we all just take a moment to just his entrance down into the debouchement was
it's pretty awesome, pretty metal.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. And you're in the midst of like this wreckage, basically, right? So yeah, and then Mort just immediately just goes over to the body of Blondveg and starts looting around. So
what knows what's up.
he has a dagger, okay, that is in a sheath at his side, and he also carries 2 potions upon his person, a scroll, and there is a book on him as well.
Ooh.
The book is made out of it's relative. It's about 15 inches tall, like it's relatively big, and it has blue cloth boards for the cover, and there's like parchment leaves in between. And yeah, 2 different looking potions.
Interesting.
Yeah, one of the potions is a golden liquid that has bright red motes in it.
Goldschlager.
Okay.
No, it's like a gold liquid with red motes, not gold.
Gotcha.
Red Schlager.
Red Schlager.
And there's the other one is sort of like a thick viscous orange color.
Does anyone from the darlings say anything while I'm doing that?
While you're looting through the body?
Yeah.
No, but they do. It's all kind of happening all at once. But Dalton sort of looks over and you can see that.
Okay.
Let's see. He's like, I think I'm going to go down the corridor, I believe, and take a look at that chest that we agreed upon.
We do want to go see that chest. Absolutely, Mr. Darling.
Indeed.
Mr. Darling.
Just between you and me, guys, like, if they give us a hard time about the stuff I just pulled out, or any of them spotted what you got off of, what was her name? Nancy.
I only got a couple potions, and it was pretty discreet, I think.
What's her name?
Roz Kelly.
Roz Kelly. Yeah. Nancy, I don't know.
That's her nickname. They call her Nancy.
Yeah. Like we can, like I just throw him the scroll, for example, or something. Like, here, you want something? Like, but I won't do it unless I'm compelled to like try and.
Yeah, we can negotiate if we need to. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
In that same
If
vein.
and when that moment arrives. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, in that same vein, I would have Avaricios gather up those 12 potions. I mean, those 12 potions that you mentioned with the green stuff in them. Mm-hmm. Those are all sealed, right? Like I could carry them.
They are all sealed. The darlings are also collecting some of those as well. Okay. And Yvette actually kind of picks one up, and she looks at it and she goes, says mortality on it. She says, look, they all do. And you look down and you can see that this is the tag that you noted earlier, that they all had the same writing on it, and they're all noted as the word mortality. it's written.
Does it look like a nice, microbrew branding sort of situation?
Calligraphy.
Do we have any like brand, like a unified aesthetic here, or is it just?
There's no real aesthetic, but it is all written in the same hand.
Gosterwick Lager Mortality.
Yeah.
Can you
So,
split it 50-50 with them if they're gathering up at the same time? Can we?
yeah, I would like,
six,
yeah,
or-
if
They're fine
they're
with
12, split that
Okay.
up 6.
That's 6
And
slots.
John, so
Oh, right. Slots.
the halflings who survived, the 5, were these hit by this poison? Because I know we hit our blades, and I know that
no, these are the ones that were engaged with the Wine Dark cohort.
okay, so these guys were not affected by that. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
All right. So, yeah, tell you what. I'll stay here. I'm like, hey, Yost, how about you and me guard the prisoners, and then you guys go and argue with Darling about what's in the chest.
I believe at this point I'm still flying through the air,
Just kind of
hanging out.
hovering.
I'm near the chest, I think, at this moment, just sort of hovering above it in the air.
You're sitting there in the lotus position
It
like this.
was 1d6 plus 6 turns, right? Like I did what, 2-3 turns?
Yeah,
I'm
true,
chilling,
you are
though.
still flying.
I'm enjoying the air.
Yeah. So the so Yost is like, yeah, I'll watch them. They will not do anything while I am watching them.
And Jost, just one thing, my friend. You took a little bit of hurt on our way down in here. Now that things are kind of gone down, I'd reach out and cast Cure Light Wounds on Yost.
Okay.
Notably, before his own cleric can.
No.
Okay. I'm ready.
Is a 1d6 plus 1. Oh, that's 7 hit points, baby.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
We lose 9, I think. No,
Who?
He
I don't know.
had 18. Yeah, he lost 7. I think he's right back up to full.
He got tagged pretty good by those
I think-
zombies and the.
I remember he lost enough that he was still above Mort's hit points. So that must have been 7 hit points that he lost. Nice.
But yeah, like I pat him on the back. I'm like, you did really, really good. And I'm glad to see you're feeling better.
Thank you, Southern Man. I feel much better now.
What did you call him?
Southern Man.
Southern man.
Oh, I thought you said sullen.
Southern.
I heard that too. But,
No, I feel pretty good,
I think there's
actually.
a Neil Young song about this.
Yeah, everyone is a Southern man to Yost.
He's from the South. He's from our.
He's from-
This is true.
Yeah.
Yost is from the land of ice and snow, I'm sure of it.
Okay.
The midnight sun and the
So-
hot springs glow.
Dalton, as Dalton goes down to the corridor, Anwir's sort of sitting there as well, and he's like, interesting seat of repose, I suppose. Have you gone through the chest yet, Anwir?
I have not. I was predisposed, and I gesture over towards the corpse of
Yes.
Ross Kelly.
Another one of your victims. I want to keep an eye on you. As I said, anytime you'd like to supplant my companion, Heliogabalus, you just let me know. Oh, here he comes. Here he comes.
Is right there.
Yeah.
I was hoping he heard.
The rest of them
I
come
just have
down.
a wry smile on when Heliogabalus walks in, and I'll kind of look at Dalton and look at him.
So as you guys are all kind of moving into Plumthorn and Ross Kelly's chambers there, you can hear a cry from behind. It's actually Heliogabalus, a cry of joy and discovery. Actually, you just hear "My word, what a find!" He says back in the lab. And
Mort is still in the lab.
oh, I thought you were all going down to check out the.
No, I said I will guard the prisoners with Yost.
Yost, yes,
These
yeah.
two guys go to the chest. So
Okay, cool.
Mort's still there.
So Heliogabalus is pointing at the brazier itself, made of bronze, and he's like, he looks at you. He's like, Yost, my friend, look at this. Yes, you too, Mort. There's no smoke coming out of this. It's magical. He says, warm, hot to the touch. Doesn't produce any smoke, however. Interesting. I don't believe that this is actually using any fuel at all.
Interesting.
That'd be awful handy for alchemy, wouldn't it?
Quite valuable indeed. And over here, what do we have here? And he looks over, and there's appears to be 3 salvageable bags. They are basically the equivalent of small sacks that are filled with alchemical ingredients of some sort.
Nice. Okay.
Meanwhile, in the other one, so there are 3 stone sarcophagi here. Their lids were pried open. And the body of Roz Kelly is sprawled there as well, leaking blood. There are 2 large casks here, sides of curing meat. This is what Anwir saw when he first floated over. Several bags of foodstuffs, and there is this chest here as well. Would you let me know if you want to look around?
Yeah, I would. Avaricios would want to take a look around, explore. Does it look like there is, like each one of these guys would have like their own little kind of bedding area, like their nest, like?
Yeah, they just have like a bedroll, relatively filthy. Remember that each of the 3 chambers that the halflings, have dwelt in have these sarcophagi in them as well, right?
But you mentioned that all the sarcophagi are kind of like smashed open.
They have been, the lids have been taken off and toppled out. Yeah, but you just be aware that you have not you haven't looked at them at all, right?
Right.
Yeah. Which we will definitely do in a second. But go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I was just going to check out whichever one of those bedrolls looks like plum thorns. I would kind of like start poking and digging into his personal private areas.
Sure. So he actually doesn't have anything in his bed. You did find on his person, that he drank a potion before the battle. And then there was one more potion on him, and he also was wearing chainmail and a shield. Chainmail is sized for halfling, obviously. He had a short bow and a battle axe as well.
I think Goran took that battle axe like immediately, like a yoink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
During that.
Okay. I think you guys should open that chest.
Yeah, let's do the chest next.
Oh, geez. Dalton says as he sort of tries to pull open the latch.
We don't find a key on any of the leaders' bodies.
Let's see. Actually, yeah, of course. On Roz Kelly's body, you actually do find... Well, no, actually, I'm sorry. On Plumthorn, you can yank it off of Plumthorn's struggling form.
That's just his retirement fund disappearing as he watches this walk off with the key.
Yeah. I'll fly over and go, hey, yoink. Thank you, Plumthorn. And fly over. I'm just fully taking advantage of this opportunity. And I'll go to the lock and turn the key.
Okay, so opening it up, you see that there is quite a lot of stuff in this pretty darn large chest. Indeed. First of all, you see the glint of coins. Indeed. You'll be happy to know, thrilled, in fact, dare I say, that you see 432 copper pieces.
Oh,
I know.
Copper pieces?
Oof, be still your heart. I know.
Is it? It's not the Arcantian stuff that we gave them.
I'm afraid not. No.
Yeah.
I think if
432
we melted
copper.
all that down, we could afford one Warhammer figurine.
243 pieces of silver. But the highest variety is actually the highest amount is actually the most valuable. There is 957 pieces of gold. Yeah. In addition, you'll be happy to know, because they cannot be bought anywhere that you know about, there are 2 ancient holy symbols of Thoth. They are in the form of baboons, actually. Worth quite a pretty penny. They're probably worth about 150 gold to the right person.
Each?
Yep.
Or
in addition, there is also a holy symbol of Set, Thoth's ancient enemy, that is in the form of a crocodile, probably worth about 100 gold. The single one of those. Each of those symbols is a slot. There are 6 gems. I don't have them detailed exactly what they are, but they're worth the following in coinage: 10, 20, 30, 10, 50, and 130.
All GP.
All GP, yep.
Oh.
In addition, there are 4 books. Let's see. The first one, Wer ist? I clicked the wrong one. Oh, there it is. Okay. First one is a book that has blue cowhide bindings. And it is a book that is called, well, on the cover page, you haven't looked into it yet, but it's called The Great Villains of Arkantos Part 4. Yes, but this one
right.
details Larcinius the Exarch.
Larcinius, the Exarch.
Indeed. Another book called Thorkin Poisons and Their Cures.
Ah.
This is a codex, a little bit smaller than the other one. Has brown leather bindings and brass fittings with parchment leaves. And the other book is The Emperors of Arkantos, Volume 1. This is a codex as well, brown leather binding, and it has 24 illuminations in gold leaf and colored ink as well. This is just what you're looking at without actually reading it, right? Just understand. And the last one, it has no title, but is made of thick leather.
Well, I'll look at that right quick.
Looking inside, the words seem to scribble and scrawl across the page in an incomprehensible language that you feel that you probably should understand if you only had the magics to decipher it.
Yeah, I see.
The handwriting inside looks the same sort of chicken scratch, lightly held quill as that as written on the Mortality vials.
Possibly Blondveig's backup spell.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll say, a cookbook. Well, I do love cooking, and I'll take it and put it in my.
Oh, the book that you found on Blondveig himself actually has a title. It's I think did I tell you? No.
No.
The Lexicon of Mithric.
Oh, like a language book?
You are only have, like, to be clear, you guys have only looked at the titles. I'm giving you vague descriptions of what these things are.
Okay,
Yeah, we haven't opened the book yet.
I speak Mithric if I need to open it up and look, but we can do that later, perhaps.
Okay. So Mort's not there, but he's listening down the hall and he's wondering to himself, Self, what was the deal that we had with the Darlings? I can't remember exactly what we worked out. I know he wanted everything, and I know I pitched, they pick first, we pick second, back and forth, but I can't remember what we actually agreed on.
I remember 50-50 split of that treasure.
That's what I remember as well.
What I recall.
But I think he gets to pick first.
Well, how's that 50-50 if somebody's picking
What are you
first?
talking about, Ted? Come on, wait. We're giving him the whole operation. He picks first.
I think that was what he wanted, the whole chest entirely for his assistance with the operation. And I think we talked him out of that, but I don't remember. I'm not in the room. You guys have to talk to Darling.
Let's see. He sees the spell book with Heliogabalus not there, and he kind of puts a finger aside of his nose and looks at you, Anwir.
Mm-hmm.
Says, "Now," he goes, "Now's the time, my friend."
I wink. I do exactly that, and I say,
That disappears up in
good doing business with you, my friend. I'm sure we will continue to collaborate in the near future. And in fact, if you find yourself questioning your allegiances, let me know.
He gently picks up the other 3 books and gently sets them down on the floor. And he takes the 6 gems and he just sort of waits for someone to open their hand, and he drops them into your hand.
Sure.
Okay. And then he just slowly kind of watching you, just with a smile on his face, just sort of drags the rest of the entire chest towards him.
You pluck a symbol of Thoth out of there?
You know what? I'll say, my friend, totally fair. Could we have a symbol of Thoth and a symbol of Set, perhaps split the two? Oh no, there's only one of the Set, isn't there?
Yeah.
One set, two Thoth. Yeah.
If you give
We
me...
already, sorry, before we do this, we have a symbol of Thoth already, correct, gang?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have a spare.
We don't want the symbol of Set because that might be more valuable to us than the symbol of Thoth.
I mean, I thought we had one. I thought we had a symbol of
I think we
Set.
do.
I have a Set
Let me look at my
pendant.
treasure guide here.
I do have a Set pendant that I'm wearing as a necklace, but that's not to be confused with a official
Holy symbol.
Thothian holy symbol, right, John?
Set holy symbol, right? You don't...
I have a Set pendant. It's not the same as a holy
We have a
symbol.
You don't know.
Or is
You're
it?
not really sure.
But you're carrying it, Anwir? You have the pendant?
It's around my neck, yeah. Just
I mean, he
I'll
can-
look at it and I'll say, "Oh, John, this is the exact same as the."
No, they look different. I'm just saying you
Okay,
have no
okay.
you have no
Okay.
notion of whether or not the one in the chest is actually like has power or anything like that. You know.
Gotcha.
So Dalton wants one of the holy symbols of Thoth because he knows what they can do.
Yeah.
He also tells you, and Yvette backs him up, that the Set cultists, if you haven't come across them, they are not exactly the most pleasant folk when you really get down to it. They put on a good face of being traders of information and goods and whatnot, but it might be useful to have one of these as well.
My thoughts exactly, my friend. How do we come upon an agreement that benefits us both then?
Well,
keep
I
the
see you're
symbol of-
already wearing one, so
Let him
I
keep the
see.
symbol of Set
Yeah.
and ask for Yost.
the set for Yost. That's not a good deal.
That's very funny. No, I think I will accept him taking. The one thing that I'm concerned about or curious about is the Thothian poisons book and their
The Thorkin,
cures.
not
The
Thorkin.
yeah.
Sorry, Thorkin poisons, which may have something to tell us about both what they were manufacturing and whether there is a.
He's willing to give you the books.
Oh, I thought he took the books.
No, he said he laid them
No,
out
he
on the
just set
floor.
them down, yeah.
My whole point was that
Oh,
basically
gotcha.
this is what he wants. He wants the money. Okay,
Yeah.
he wants the money and he wants the symbol of Set.
Oh, I thought he
Okay.
wanted this Thoth one. Oh, okay.
And the Thoth one, yeah. He's. I mean, you guys seem to be cool with like
All
splitting
right,
the
all
Thoth
right. I'll help him push the chest over to his side with one of the Set and one of the Thoths. And I'll take a Thoth for myself and say, that's a perfectly reasonable split, I would say. Yes.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we did talk about more of an even split of what was in the chest. That's just what I remember. You know, we all put in a lot of effort here, and you have, a potential.
In terms of quantity of goods, I'm sure that you could make the case, my friend, but as you can see, I see 6 shining gems in your pocket. I see priceless books. I see a work of arcane might. I don't think you have really anything to complain about.
What do you think?
there's-
You got a ton of money, guys.
I'd
way more money
rather
than
have the books in the gym. Well, and the gyms are kind of whatever, but I'd rather have them than worry about the 900 gold personally. But I'm willing to hear you out, Avaricios. He needs to buy booze. You know men like this, my friend.
It's just,
he's always
celebratory
trembling for
with
the
my.
next.
It is part of my religion, you know. You've got to.
Sure.
But you know, you know what? I see your point. The coins are very heavy. You know, if we have the you know, and also I'm super tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Sure.
I'm
Yes.
fine
Let's.
with that, yeah.
All right. So
this split is fine in the spirit of future good relations, right?
Okay. So yeah, that's fine. All right. So that's that. You got it all marked down?
I've written it all down. We have to figure out who's actually carrying what when we finally leave. But yeah, I have it all written down.
Okay.
And
what are you
which,
doing next?
Which holy symbol did we keep?
We have
We
one
have one
Thothian.
Thoth.
One Thoth. Okay, so we now have double thoughts. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Or grab the books. If he doesn't take them, we should take
I'll
the
take
books.
a book.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious to. My feeling is like the great villains and that Emperor's one. Like, there might be information there that would help us read some of the murals around somewhere, or make sense of that Hall of Heroes or something.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
Once we've completed doing this, John, can I peek over at the sarcophagi and see if they have corpses inside them, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, you certainly can. So they do appear to be completely looted and empty, filled with a bunch of just kind of trash and junk and such like that, just from like apple cores that the halflings were just sort of tossing in there, sort of thing, right? You do notice something strange, however, on when you were sort of looking around inside them. You notice that the middle sarcophagus, the bed of the sarcophagus, appears to be slightly higher than the beds of the other two on the other side.
I had a feeling.
Hobbits would never see that because they're too short.
I will peek around the seams of said bed and see if it is liftable. In the absence of that, I will push the sarcophagus itself aside. But let's check that bed first.
Okay.
Guys, any other buttons or levers or other grooves that seem strange?
So, are we hoping for a secret compartment or a secret staircase, David?
Well, I'm looking for both personally, but
yeah.
I was looking for a staircase, but I think it might be a compartment. But
so keeping your fingers sort of like around the edges of the bed itself, like in the interior of the cavity, right? Near the foot, there is a piece of the stone that actually can depress inwards into the side. Doing that allows you to actually get a finger underneath the bed of the sarcophagus, and actually, I should say more than like your whole hand, basically, and lift it up, basically. And there is a false bottom. There is a false bottom underneath. You hear like the darlings like suck in their breath, like, oh my, there
Once again, I'm gonna wink at Heliogoblus if he's watching.
Heliogoblus is still back there with Yost.
Okay.
And
well, it's fine. I'll wink at Dalton and say, "I'm telling you, my friend, I've got the skills."
Indeed, you do. And he's like, and he sort of like coughs as what you lift up releases like a huge cloud of like dust and stuff like that from underneath. It is very evident that for as long as the halflings have actually lived here, they've never discovered this false bottom. This is not halfling stash like the rest of it.
Sweet.
Within, you see another symbol of Thoth. This one made entirely of silver. And it is encrusted with precious stones dotting it. Like it looks like a decorative piece. Yeah. So this holy symbol of Thoth is worth a nice 850 gold.
I'll take the Thothian symbol I already got, and I'll toss it to Dalton and say, "It's on me."
No, no, we need all of them. We're backtracking. We need all of them. Don't
all right, I won't do it. Fine. I mean, he's going to ask for this one, but it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, you found it.
It's not in the chest.
There is another 575 copper pieces, normal. 352 silver pieces, normal. There is a moldering scroll, but does look like it does have language upon it. And there are two very well-made arrows within as well.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Any particular features to the head or feather on said arrows?
They look relatively old, like old-fashioned. I don't know how that would actually manifest with arrows themselves, but the fletching itself does not seem to have deteriorated. It is of a plain. It has actually been painted red, very fine feathers, and the wood itself is ramrod straight, and it has not decayed or anything. You can just tell that they're probably magical of some sort. They look identical.
Amazing. Cool.
Don't say +1 inlaid in silver on the head or anything like that.
They do not. No.
All right.
John, can I take a look very carefully at that scroll to see if any of the language makes sense
You do not. It scrambles your mind a little bit when you look at it.
I hate that. It
And
feels weird.
myself, does it look familiar to me? Or
It does look like the kind of thing that you would probably be able to decipher.
all right.
That's a sweet little find.
So I'm gonna pocket that. I don't really particularly care about the copper, so I could toss that over to Dalton.
Nice.
I'll give him the copper and the silver just to keep it even.
Uh-huh.
Keep it real. All right. So you're not taking any of the coin out of there.
I'm taking the
Okay.
850 gold Thothian thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not taking any coin. I'm giving him the coin as, again, a gesture of splitting.
So you hear Nicasia and Gorand shouting in the other room, like to back out the western side of the portcullis, giving orders to the men. And you can hear men kind of coming in, and they've obviously been given orders to start cleaning up, basically like arraying the bodies, just cleaning up all the glass and all that sort of stuff. So, and Dalton sort of just surveys it with his kind of like with one arm sort of crooked against the wall, you know what I mean? Just with the one leg cocked, just sort of watching it. It's like, that's right. Get my kingdom ready for me. Got to have my quarters set.
How much time is left on Anwir's fly spell?
I was going to ask that about the yeah.
Because directly across from this room,
Yeah.
visible from this room, is that false entrance or whatever it is on the other side of the chasm.
Exactly. They only have expended what, like
Probably an hour at this point, I would guess. Which means you've got another 20 minutes.
He doesn't know how many he has.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure. Fly over the chasm. I'm sure it's probably
Well, if you
okay.
fly over
tie
with a
her
rope,
up
that'd be-
to my waist. Tie her up
Yeah.
to my waist, and I'll fly over there. While we still have some time. Sound
Right.
good?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, oh, great. That's not
Okay.
what's supposed to happen.
Two things: tie her up to my waist, give me a mallet and stakes, and I'll fly over there. And I'll fix the rope across the chasm to it, but I'll look while I'm there too.
You know what we're talking about, right, John?
Yeah, give me a moment.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, a bit of a tangent, John.
It was kind of like over here, right? Like kind of
It's a little
halfway.
further south than that. Yeah, right about there, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly. I remember we could see it from our previous vantage point at the chasm, but we couldn't get to it.
Or was it closer to was it way down here by the ropes that are still on the wall?
Well, that's where we were when we could see it, but I don't remember exactly where along the wall it was.
Because this red line here, that's like the rope
rope.
that's affixed,
Yeah.
and it went. So it's got to be like
I don't think it actually led to that. I think,
it was above and nearby. Well, it's generally
well,
there. Yeah.
yeah, it's over there somewhere, and Dave was going to fly there.
Okay, so basically, you're looking at, if you look at Owlbear, it's across the chasm, and it is roughly right here.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Now,
I'll just draw
you fly over
a
on
line
where,
there.
and you can see that, what are you using for light?
You're muted or something, David.
Oh, my bad. I have my lantern still, so I can light that up. Although I think we refilled it.
It's actually lit, I think.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
using it.
It's still lit, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you fly over with your light, and you can see that here, the chasm at this point is completely covered with creepers of some sort, right? Which conceal this circular thing. So it's basically, as you kind of fly over and you're hovering there, and you kind of move the creepers away a little bit, you can see that it is a 10-foot circular piece of stone, 10 foot in diameter. Okay, carved right into the middle of the chasm wall itself. Like there's nothing above it, there's nothing below it. It's like just a chasm wall, right? But it is basically directly across from where you left off of phlebotomist's chambers. In the center of it, there is a glyph of some sort that you cannot decipher. However, the geometry of this glyph is familiar to you.
Is it a shape of a holy symbol?
No, but it is a hexagonal sort of shape with radiating lines and weird curly cues, and a cold shiver runs down your spine, Anwir, as you recognize this glyph as one of the language denominators in the chamber with the white walls and the pods.
Got you.
Now,
It's alien in nature, one might say.
Underneath, obviously more recent, there are some runic style letters that have been written in crude Arcantian,
which I will look at.
Scroll underneath, and it just says, they're also quite old, but not engraved as into the stone itself, and it says, Artax Reese does not wish to be disturbed.
Artax Reese does not wish to be disturbed.
Yeah. That's ARTAX-RIS.
RIS, interesting. And there's no other more modern writing or note-taking around this.
No. And to be clear, the stone is like ancient stone. It is the stone of this place, right? The same kind of stone that was worked by the Arcantians. This is not like the plasteel of the chamber.
Right. Is there anything shared between this stone, the glyph work, or anything within this little portal of sorts, and the amphibious secret chamber I found within the pyramid?
No. Good question, but no.
Okay.
So the hypothesis here then would be one of the aliens comes out of the ship, lives down here, and eventually hides in this. Maybe it's his tomb, or he's in there meditating for the last 1,000 years or something crazy.
I have to check our notes, but I don't remember seeing Artax Reese. I don't think that was one of the names that we saw on any of the capsules.
I'll
have to check it out.
Hey, who says that was the first ship to touch down in this area? Maybe there's another reason all these ships keep showing up. You know what I mean? Interesting. Okay.
Also, the interesting note that there was a warning that was scrawled in Arcantian, right? You saw no evidence of the Arcantian language anywhere in that chamber.
You said it was ancient Arcantian. Can I date the vernacular to a period of time?
Well, that's also a good question as well. So ancient Arcantian is actually Mithric, right?
Yeah.
It is not Mithric. So it's old, but it's
archaic,
yeah,
but not ancient.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. But that puts it past a generation. This wouldn't necessarily be a person who is living at this time that would have written this.
But so it's a warning. It's like so and so opened this thing up and was like, "Oh, he didn't want to be disturbed." Ooh,
right.
Gotcha.
So you hear Helga. She's like, "What did you see out there? What is it? I remember passing by when we were climbing."
Some strange wizardry. I don't know the language of it though. Let me feel about for a latch. I'll let you know. Before I do that, can I go ahead and stake a rope opinion in where I'm at?
A piton,
rather.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
So that we have a tether.
So as you're yelling back and forth, okay, you hear multiple sounds coming from above you and below you, far away in both directions. Far above, you hear familiar hooting and snarling of baboons. Below you hear low rumbling laughter, like a ho 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 ho.
Okay, I'm gonna turn below and say, I'm gonna say, who goes there?
You hear a thickly accented low voice says, "Come down to the troll lifts." This is echoing up from hundreds of feet below. It's echoing off the side of the chasm.
Well, that's interesting.
Give me your name, troll. I will give you mine. An exchange of names is the most ancient of bargains.
Come down, speak to Gog.
Gorg. Golg.
Gog.
Gog. Gog, when you meet Anwir, you shall know you have met a friend and match.
You just hear more laughter of like multiple voices.
Our blood intertwine on friendly pretenses.
So like the more like you speak, like the more like your words just get lost, right? Like it's impossible to have a conversation at all, right? It's just they just bounce off the wall because the voices are coming from deep, and the baboon howling is obviously in response to like your light and noise, but it's also like very far up above. You might even go so far as to say it might be around 250 feet.
Oh, can I? Does anyone have a torch?
We all have torches.
Can I ask one of you to toss one over the edge and let me watch? Not to get too distracted from the portal, but I just want to see.
We could toss a flaming hobbit over the edge.
That'll work too.
And I still have a torch.
While we do this, I'm going to go quickly tuck my kid in, and I'll come right back.
Sure.
You know what? Instead of doing that, this is a bit of a waste of a wand spell, but why not? It's fun for the moment.
No. I'll light something on fire. It's fine.
All right.
So when he hears the hooting and hollering out there in the chasm, Mort will go over to the edge of the room that he's in and look out and see Anwir out there, just this glowing little moat against the vastness of the chasm. He hears him say, light something on fire and throw it down. There must be some flammable stuff in the Blondveg's lab, right? Something I can
yeah, sure.
torch up easily. Mm-hmm. Can I ignite it off of that brazier?
Yes, you could. Yeah.
All right. So I'll wad up a bunch of rags or, a corpse or whatever, ignite it, huck it off the side.
Okay. Down it goes.
I've been wanting to do this for a while, actually, and see how deep this thing is.
You don't even hear it hit.
Can I see it hit? Can I see the flame dwindling into the distance?
Disappears into the darkness. Just
sweet.
I have a silly another idea, and then we can leave this, but I just find it kind of fun. I am going to waste a charge on this one, but it's fine. It's fun. It's fun. I have a miniature bell in my pocket, and I'm going to cast light on it with the wand. So it's a glowing miniature bell. And I'm going to shout down the chasm one last time to Gog. Gog, take this that you might summon me when you need. And I'm going to throw it over. Ding, 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 down the chasm. Glowing as it goes. Whether it hears me or not doesn't matter, but I'm just going to throw the bell down there.
Okay, so you you hear it dingling down with like the light, and it doesn't go as far down as the alchemical torch thing went down. And you hear it suddenly stop, and like the light winks out, but you don't hear anything else. Okay.
So it's ringing, and then it stops ringing, and the light also winks out.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes, correct.
Interesting.
And at the same time, the command word, the Logos on your wand, actually goes dark, and a little bit of smoke just kind of fizzles out of the end of the wand.
Oh man.
Anwir's thinking about this stuff, my friend. Anyway,
he's thinking he doesn't have more of a wand anymore.
All right, cool. With that, can I feel around the perimeter of this stone portal? I'm going to keep calling it a portal, for lack of a better word.
Mm-hmm.
See if I feel any grooves. See if I see any like indentions where people regularly trafficked or touched.
So you could definitely see some like recent traversing, which you assume is evidence of the Darlings having hit this, right? Like there are pythons that have been put into the wall that head southeastward across, traversing across the side, the lateral face of the chasm. But other than that, the stone itself is fit perfectly into the natural rock of the cavern wall itself, of the chasm wall itself.
Sure. If I hammer on it, does it sound hollow on the other end?
No, it sounds very thick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So this may be like magically rather than like physically a portal. Ted and Matt. I don't know. It's a thought.
No, I'm sure there's a room on the other side. Look at all that space on the map.
Fair enough.
There's something
Or some
on
kind of transport or something.
Wow.
Well, I guess it could be
I'm
some
curious.
sort of transport, but I bet you it's like a tomb.
Well, how does a man get into a tomb like that? I don't know.
Well, you got to die.
Well, you press the right kind of holy symbol into that graven glyph. You got something that goes in there. I don't remember there was anything in the spaceship that was. We remember the symbol, but we didn't see anything that was like physically the symbol. It was all just on the screens, right?
Yeah. We
It's
we
a
weren't
relief,
able to.
John?
No, what?
This symbol is a relief. It's a.
No, it's carved in.
It's
I think that's what I meant. Right,
Yeah.
rather not a relief. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Does it
Yeah.
look like something could go in there?
No, it's not that deep, right? It just
Okay.
looks like something's been incised in there. It's like a glyph. Yeah. To be clear, like the glyphs you saw on the terminal screen, right? But they were also on the plaques of the individual pods in some cases. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, you have seen them physically manifest before, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Anwir, do you have anything on you that you could like take a rubbing, or can you just like draw it or something so that we can?
Sure. I mean,
remember?
I have chalk. I have paper. I could take a rubbing. I'm also.
Tear a page out of your spell book. Oh.
Hey, listen. No. Go ahead. Sorry.
You just be aware that you have no idea how long your thing's going to last, right?
I'm standing on the ledge, right? And I fixed a rope.
There's no ledge.
Oh, it's fully. I thought I hammered a line in somewhere.
That's fine. I'm just saying there's nothing to stand on. I mean, you can stand on your python with 1 foot, but you know.
Okay. So I should be quick, regardless. All right. With that in mind, a couple moments, I will do two things. I will speak the name of Artax Rees into the glyph and see if anything responds.
Nothing happens.
Open sesame kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And second, I will take a quick rubbing of the symbol and head back over where I came from.
As you do you see anything on this wall here of interest?
That's the same thing. Anything else on the chasm? Anywhere?
So
I would have flown by that before, so I would have seen it last session, I imagine.
That's true.
Oh, that's right. You flew kind of
you see
along.
nothing else of interest except the bare rock wall. Oops, I did a thing. Hold on a second. Okay, so you're taking out a piece of paper, right? And you're putting it over top the glyph, and then you're rubbing it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Try touching the glyph.
I could trace the glyph with my hand. Yeah. Why not? Sure. I mean, I still have a rope tethered to me, so if my fly dies, I'm just gonna. Is someone on the ready on the other end of this rope?
We just need to arrange that.
Okay.
You don't
Actually,
put that
I have a better
on.
idea. Okay, sorry, John. This is really annoying, but okay. So I fixed one rope for them. One is tied to me. Can I fix my rope to the rope that's spanning it? So if I fall, I am connected to.
That's fine.
Take a second lifeline. All right,
Sure.
I'll do that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Now I will try to trace the symbol with my hand.
Okay, as you put your finger on the glyph to kind of trace it, from a for the rest of you guys who are all looking across the chasm, the entire chasm blossoms with a crackling blue-white light that emanates from the glyph as an electrical discharge, just basically throws Anwir off the python and into midair, just it illuminates like a huge swath of the chasm, and all of you guys are blinded and have like those like you can't see anything for a minute, you know. And you're gonna take some damage.
Do we get to see his? Do we get to see his skeleton?
And Anwir died right after the battle. All right.
Sorry, give me a sec.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I was joking about dying to get in there.
I don't suppose it opened when that happened.
You're gonna take 11 points of damage, Anwir.
I'm dead.
You're not dead.
That's four under my max. So good thing I'm on the rope because I am unconscious.
Reel it in, boys.
We'll see what happens here.
I mean, everybody can rest assured. I healed Yost.
I was about to say,
Because danger,
Oh.
the danger was past.
Okay, so I need you to roll me a d6 Anwir. I'm sorry, not a d6, a d12.
I also want to point one thing out that I really don't want to point out, but it's true. I did just say that I took the rope that was fixed to me and put the lifeline on the other rope, which would imply that no one's holding the other end of this, right? So
Well,
now I'm
I'm
dangling from a rope suspended, sort of like this, or no?
Across the way.
Well, no, it's like it's a fix on the other end. But go ahead, roll me a d12.
All right, D12. What does a D12 look like anymore? I don't know. Hold on.
It has a 12 on it.
It has a 12 on it. Yeah, there we go. That's a 6.
Plus 4. You're 4 in the negative.
I'm 4 in the negative.
So that's 10. Okay, you just barely escaped the next level, but you are horribly burned. Okay. Stands to reason. Okay, 4 days burned. Anwir. Okay, so, all right, Anwir. Curiosity killed the cat here, apparently. So the blue-white light just sears off. As your vision clears, you just see Anwir just sort of topple backwards, like unconscious, off the python that he was on, and he slams into the western side of the chasm at the end of that rope, and he just dangles there, and you can smell like burnt flesh just sort of like waft up from underneath, as all like the darlings like cry out, and a vet like makes like a holy sign to Bellaton, like that's something. You hear Heliogab's, what was that?
God damn it!
I think I heard something.
The one thing I didn't want to give Heliogobulus was a moment like this.
Hey, John. So Mort was hanging out the edge of the chasm, watching when that happened. Did the illumination like show him anything in the chasm of interest?
No.
Sorry, Anwir.
just his friend's burnt up corpse.
No, everyone saw like the illumination of the chasm for a second.
Right.
So
right, but I didn't I was leaning out and looking up, and I didn't see like
nothing of interest.
700-foot bats hanging from the top of the roof.
I would have let you know. What do you do with Anwir?
Okay.
He wants a freebie from his friend's suffering. Come on.
No.
What do you do?
Things get illuminated when lightning strikes. It's like it's very, very theatrical. I thought we might get some.
I'll tell you
right,
what. We're going to take our mid-session break here, and we will be right back. All right, we're back from emptying the old bladders, and we have a hanging illusionist.
all I can say is thank Thoth that I tied a rope around my waist.
Very true.
Yeah.
Or that would have been a body loss.
Yeah.
Well, you could have hung out with your new friend Gog.
I was going to say,
All right, so let's skip to it.
I
Right,
would
you
have been
guys.
not very impressed with Anwir when he landed. Like, I thought we were supposed to be your match.
Okay, so you're going to haul him up, right? I assume.
Yeah, reel him in.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Sure.
So
back up.
luckily enough, a vet sort of like her short sort of hunchback form, she kind of waddles forth, and she's like, "This is wholly against the tenets of the Bellaton, as in only the strong survive. But I suppose since you you Frater have deigned to heal our friend Yost up, we can return the favor." And she kind of grasps Anwir's like limp form, and he's like literally smoking. There's like horrid burns that are just like laced down at like his face and his arms and everything like that. And she grasps him and like hard and basically shakes him, right? And you can feel like the divine power like enter into it, but it's like a very sort of violent sort of healing instead of like a gentle kind, right? And Anwir's mouth gapes open too far, like you can hear the jaw sort of crack a little bit as his eyes like roll back white in his head, and then he snaps to like Uma Thurman out after her shot, and yeah. And then Dalton's just like, that was fucking trippy.
So what does that put him at 1 hit point or?
No, we're gonna roll for it. Let's see here.
Oh, okay.
How many hit points do you have total? Maximum?
6.
6. Okay. So yeah, there's actually a chance that you might get healed all the way up. Let's see.
Oh,
Because you're not in the negatives. Negatives only just determines the
Severity. Of the
severity.
wound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, no, but it's 3 hit points. You're healed 3 hit points.
Ah, he's good.
I say.
only
So as I was saying, very interesting portal. There's a lot to discover. Has anyone tried touching it yet? I think maybe touching it is the key.
Shall we try again?
Well, you know what? The lips and eyelids, they're overrated. You don't need those.
Yeah, you're looking very much worse for wear. Like, you're all jacked up and scarred and horribly burned. So you are burned horribly. You've been rejuvenated because of the healing, but you are so thoroughly like your skin's so red and exposed that you cannot wear armor. So that banded mail, basically, you have to shed because you cannot bear to actually have it on you.
Fun.
Okay, so
I'll take it off.
yeah.
Is there
So-
a healing duration for this condition?
There is. You're going to be burned for 4 days. Yeah. Now,
Okay.
the just to point out to the audience out there, this is probably the longest run that anyone has ever witnessed of a magic user wearing armor. So congratulations on where you wore banded mail for
There
quite
we
some
go.
time,
Yeah.
effectively.
Have you ever actually cast a spell?
Yeah, he did. We had an old episode about it on We're Cast a Spell. I remember.
Yeah, it's
I
called Cast a Spell.
cast a spell and we got thrown in prison. That's fine.
That's
Since
right.
then, no, I have not. But I have done many things. I'll have you know, a wizard who needs spells is a poor wizard indeed.
Wisdom,
Yeah,
wisdom, right there, absolutely,
Right.
100%. Okay, so everyone's just sort of like, Jesus, man. It's like, what do you? Heliogablis like kind of comes in and he's kind of pats you on the back like awkwardly, and he just sort of whispers in your ears. He's like, I think that might be at least 3 or 4 of your 9 lives, friend. How many do you have left? We'll see who's the last wizard standing.
That's very rude of him to pat you on the back too. When you're all
Does this hurt, Anwir?
I'll say.
Tell me if it stings.
Oh, my friend, thank you for looking after me. When I arrive at those obsidian gates, I'll make sure to tell them my name is Heliogablis.
Tell me, friend Anwir, so did you end up getting the rubbing? Oh, I suppose not. Guess it's useless to ask you exactly if you could remember what the glyph looked like. Brains might have got a little scrambled up there. That's all right. You take it.
I do remember was it your sister or your mother? I don't know.
Yes, it is
at
the
this
weak.
point, Mort's like, okay, that's enough of that.
The weak-minded
wanna-
that hit below the belt, but that's all right.
No, all good fun. All right, cool. Well, I don't want to dominate too much time on it. I would suggest that someone look at the remaining coffins in the other rooms, because I believe John said all of the rooms have some assortment of coffins. But
There's
other than
3
that,
sarcophagus in each room. And
Yeah.
we might as well
I think
do
we
the same search.
aside from that, I follow you guys' lead. I'm a little worse for it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we haven't checked out the one in the south.
Yeah, we haven't really looked at the south room. And Mort wants to go down there anyway with Plumthorn and see if we can't talk to the goblins.
So yeah, no sooner do you voice that notion, Mort, that you hear a little bit of some chaos coming from the Windark cohort, and you hear a couple of men kind of race towards your chamber as you're heading back out that way, headed by Decasia, and she's like, gentlemen, there is we're hearing someone coming up from the south. Should we bring the men in?
I got this. Actually, yes, but I got this. I want to rush down to that little barricade that we'd seen before and grab whatever light source I can grab along the way. And so I know you said it was a barricade. I wasn't clear on whether it was like a little wall you could see over or whether it was like a bunch of stuff jammed into the hole and barricaded shut like that.
So it's basically like a low barrier of debris. is basically all it basically was.
Low meaning you can see over it or climb over it?
Yeah, you can kind of see over it, yeah.
Okay, so he'd like to kind of, hold a torch over or look over the edge in some way and see if he can see down what he presumes must be a tunnel.
Yes. There is a carved out tunnel. There is, it's actually, I'm sorry, it's a very rickety, rudimentary sharp wooden stakes that have been set across that tunnel with debris sort of piled in front of it as well to sort of brace that rickety thing.
Yeah.
And you can see numerous light sources slowly sort of making their way forward, and you can hear like just sort of like a whispering, like.
All right, I'll call down the tunnel. Who goes there, friend or foe, to Mort of the Gobliano clan?
Goblin, are you Goblin? I hear the voice.
I am Goblin. Are you Goblin?
We are. When
What
we
clan
approach,
be you?
we heard chaos beyond. Has there been fighting?
Haha! We have laid the long feet low. Their hairy stubs will no longer trouble you.
Praise be to King West Keenum. Praise be to King West Keenum. Praise be to King. You're like
Praise
echoing
be
back down.
indeed.
You
Send
are-
one of your number forward that we may treat in peace.
So you see kind of come out of the darkness with small little like lanterns kind of peering through the wooden barrier. You see 7 total goblins sort of kind of shuffle forward, and they are the leader has like a long like wobbly neck, like with the too big of a head that's sort of like wobbling around, and a huge giant like Adam's apple that's sort of like clucking like underneath, like hitting the bottom of his jaw.
Right.
I mean, he's wearing a Morning Star, and the other ones are all wearing just have like spears, or are like a little bit smaller than he is.
Right.
And he says, "The name's Bottleneck." He says,
Bottleneck.
"You are Mort."
I am Mortis of the Gobliano clan. And he should at this point notice that I am fully armored in the Imperial Lorica Segmentata.
Yeah, you can see
red
that-
cape and everything.
He's looking, and you can see that he's wearing armor, but it's very rudimentary. But it's looked like he tried to piece it together in sort of like a Mad Max way to mimic
Sure.
the kind of armor that you're actually wearing. Like it has like Imperial affectations, but it's like
Right.
completely not legit, right?
Right.
It's just like made out of scrap leather and stuff like that, right? And he's looking you up and down, like with a little bit of awe, right? Like right into your eyes, because you guys are at the same level
Right.
now. Peering through the barrier, he's sort of like a predatory dog, just sort of like moving his head side to side, looking you up and down.
All right.
Mort,
I look him square in the eye.
Mort, you say, do you follow the king? Are you a servant of the king? Are you a member of the halls? Are you from outside? Outside, I'd say.
I am from outside, from the Sunlands, far away. But I have come here seeking fortune and fame, and I have found it in the slaying of the Longfeet.
You have slain the Plumthorns, the gang, the halflings.
I and my comrades, yes.
Your comrades, tall, dangerous. Yes.
Many.
He's just sort of like,
But, Bottleneck, friends, I have a gift for you. And I summon Plumthorn to be brought to us.
and
A tribute to your King Whiskin, a symbol of good faith and peace between those who dwell in these halls here now and your own.
gifts. We will talk to the big boss of the Wet Caves. Yes, we will talk to him. We might be able to escort you. Yes, bring me through. Yes, there's only 7 of us. Come, show yourselves. And the other ones step into the light.
I summon more mercenaries to the area to just stand around and look tough. And can someone drag Plumthorn in here?
Yes, I will. I will bring him in and make sure the mercenaries come and back us up in a nice big wall of man meat.
So like they sort of as the larger men sort of come forward into the lantern light, they sort of their eyes sort of raise up over the post. You can see them gulp a little bit. But when you drag Plumthorn forward through that massive meat, right, and forward, they break out into like high pitched like yipping and barking and snarling at the same time, like they can't even contain themselves. And they said it's him, the demon man has been caught.
He is yours for an alliance between our two people here.
Bottleneck cannot speak to it. We could take you to the big boss of the Wet Caves. He speaks for the king. His name, yes. Come.
The big boss speaks for the king. How far is your big boss?
The big boss, he's down below. Just follow the tunnel. He goes down to the Wet Caves. And from there to the Wet Caves, you will speak to the big boss upon his throne. And then you'll be so happy. You'll be so happy. He will take you and Plumthorn as captive to the great hall of the Goblin King.
So I'm super interested in this, I have to say.
I think this
wanted
is
to be a Goblin King.
This sounds like a really fun thing to do tomorrow after we've had a nice nap.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are very tired. Yeah.
How long does a lantern burn for, John? It's like
24.
6 hours? 24 turns, so 6 hours.
4 hours, right? 4 hours.
Oh, right. Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I say, Bottleneck, we are weary with battle. Come back in the burning of 2 lantern times, and we will speak again. Is this fair?
Yes, we will wait you. We can wait. Oh, yes. Take down the barrier in the meantime, yes?
Not until we have made a pact upon things.
Very well. I shall retreat. I understand. I will go tell the big boss of the Wet Caves. Yes, he will be waiting for you. We will talk. Much to talk about.
Much to
Parley is
talk
the word.
about.
Yes, parley. Yes.
Parlay. We shall parlay. You and I and the White King and your big boss. It will be good.
Mort.
Well met, Bottleneck.
Well met, Mort. It pleases us greatly to see that you command all these large folk. You see, like, Casey's just sort of smiling, she's got her mohawk, like, look. Yeah, commands the word, she says. And she, pulls out a toothpick. It's like flicks.
Pays more alike, but anyway. All right. That's pretty good. Okay, that gives us, we can just sleep down here. 2 burnings of lanterns, that's 8 hours. We can get some sack time.
Wait, do we not want to head up and cash?
You want to cross the city in the middle of the night?
We can't.
1 in the morning up there.
Look, I'll put it this way. Anwir will do anything, but reputation though he has, going down to the lair of the Goblin King without storing any of our experience or doing any sort of resetting of our rest is a choice. I will do anything you'd like. I am happy to follow that lead, but bearing in mind that, all is for naught if it goes. To
and
shit.
I don't think, John, correct me here. We could or could not get a rest down here. Like, this isn't safe territory.
You can try. It's not safe.
It's not safe territory. Yeah.
See,
Well, we wouldn't get XP down here, but we can get a night's sleep.
You don't know.
maybe that's what I'm saying. I think if we stay here, something might come up. Over the wall of the chasm, down the hallway. We've seen skeletons come there before.
But I'm just saying, obviously you rest in a dungeon. There's
could.
much higher chance of wandering encounters.
Right.
Like there could be an encounter between here and the inn, or there could be an encounter we stay here. But if we go to the inn, at least we can let them know if something's up.
I'll yell to Bottleneck, make it 4 lanterns.
4 lanterns.
4 burnings of the lantern, so 16 hours.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Wait.
That's fine. Okay, so you have okay, so your question is that what are you going to do with the captives? What are you going to do with are you going to question Plumthorn before you hand them over? What are you doing with Plumthorn? What are you going to do about Yost? What are you going to do with the Wine Dark cohort? They're basically done now. They have no obligation to you, right? There's all this aftermath stuff you need to take care of. So what are you doing?
Right.
I think asking, questioning Plumthorn is probably pretty high up on that list, because he's got to have some good info from down here,
including his specific relationship with the Broken Head Inn, which I think would be useful to know before going up there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's now that he's seen what we're about to do to him, he may be a little more willing to talk.
Yeah, he's wild-eyed, like a small trickle of blood coming down from his head. His hair's all mussed up.
Yeah.
May I propose an idea?
Yeah.
Although I think he's probably 4 foot already. Remember that little rope that I strung across the chasm?
Oh, I don't think we need to scare him any further.
All right.
I mean, I've just basically offered to hand him over to the Goblin King. He's
I know.
You guys are going to pull some Suge Knight sort of stuff.
Listen. I want him being as honest as he can be.
In fact, Avaricios would take a pull out of off of his canteen and then just hand it to the little guy. I'm like, go on, take a drink. I think you're probably going to need it.
Right after that. Sorry, go ahead.
He greedily slops it up.
Yeah. After that happens, doing the good cop, bad cop, Anwir is going to walk up to it and say, give me all of your things and you can cross the chasm. And I'm going to give him a little on the cheek, a little pat.
he just scowls with hatred at you. Know?
Let's chain him to a sarcophagus and ungag him and have a little chat.
Look, what do you want to know? Just tell me what you want to know. I'm at your mercy.
I'm going to plop down next to him. I'll put an arm around his shoulders.
Cease with the theatrics.
No, Plumthorn.
Just tell me, Goblin, is my life forfeit?
Well, I suppose that depends on what you have to offer. For example, I'd like an apology for you being such an ass.
Yes,
Mort, I'm terribly sorry I was an ass.
Oh, man, that was very insincere. I don't believe it at all.
Which time? Come on.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. What was your deal with the innkeeper, Plumthorn?
It was a simple matter of trade. You have this notion that I'm some sort of dastardly mastermind. I'm just a halfling that attracted like kind to form a little business. My word, the overreaction, bringing an army against us, really.
Just a halfling with some like-minded guys and a lethal chemistry lab with a very nasty alchemist and some terribly vicious poisons.
Who are you selling these poisons to?
I've seen your like before. You're no different than all the rest. If you had been presented with the same opportunities I had, you would have ran the same sort of business and probably charged a higher fee. This is your entire plan, isn't it, Dalton? Dalton just sort of smiles in the background, Maybe.
Well, that might be Dalton's plan, but you've never met anybody like us, because if you had, they'd have brought an army in and they'd have kicked your ass all over the place. Okay, so that's
You're right. I apologize. We were merely trading. We collect fees from adventurers and a tithe of the items that they find within the halls. We trade those things to Kronos and Estelle, and they bring us some of the provisions that we can't get easily here in the dungeon. You in fact posed as messengers of Kronos at one time. I remember you delivered goods to us not too long ago.
Who are you selling the poisons to?
The poisons. It's Mortality is the name of it, by the way. Blondveg's invention. Poor Blondveg. He was really the genius behind the whole operation, but didn't have my skill in marketing. I've got many contacts, you see, in both Newmarket, Gosterwick, and as far as Narcelian, and the market there for poisons. The Benevolent Brotherhood always has needs.
All right, so I would love to have a list of those contacts, especially the high-profile ones, my friend. For life is worth information, wouldn't you say?
I wholeheartely agree, and never let it be said that I have so much honor that I wouldn't betray my contacts for my own skin. Give me one moment while I look up my ledgers.
Sure.
I can tell you right off the bat, although I'd be more than willing to give you more, but just to whet your appetite a little bit, you might like to know that the Benevolent Brotherhood, despite the young age of the town of Gosterwick, does have quite a firm hold on the mean streets of Gosterwick. In fact, I don't know if you've heard the name, but the actual secret leader of the Benevolent Brotherhood, who I've never actually met, is another goblin, Mort.
Wick Trimmer, isn't it?
His name is... you have heard of him.
Son of a bitch.
I thought maybe perhaps you might have, as is in his high seat among the rarities factor. But yes, he has has another side gig, as it were.
Oh, I knew I didn't like him. Oh, dear, oh, dear.
Very difficult to get an audience with Whip Trimmer. However, should you want to talk to some of his lieutenants, perhaps, there is 2 people that he talks to regularly named Anders and Risa.
Oh, dear. Why did the goblins call you the Demon Man?
Oh, I am the bane of their existence, unfortunately. They have some sort of story about how these halls are actually theirs, and they wish to make an incursion onto this level. Of course, we weren't willing to do that at all, and they paid the price in blood. Although, don't let them convince you that they are somehow noble and victims of happenstance. They took my poor friend Carloman Fleetfingers. Yes, poor Isidore's brother.
Yeah, and then you melted one of them. I saw it.
I was simply asking where Carloman was, and they decided they would rather withhold that information. When there's a price, there is a price.
Yep. Simple trade. I see. Just a merchant.
Exactly. Capitalism, friend.
I'm a little curious. Who did you take this place from? Did you take it from the goblins, or was there somebody else here when you came down?
There was no one actually here. The goblins had made forays. If you look here, and he kind of points, you're in that southern chamber, and there is actually a passageway, like a carved passageway that is leading out of the northwest side of that room.
On the map.
This is, they had gotten as far as here, and he kind of points down, and you've already looked in there, and you can see that it actually ends. Like just suddenly ends.
It's only like a few feet deep.
They had gotten as far as there, carving out their own little niche before we arrived, and sent them scuttling back to their holes.
Can I take a look at that niche and make sure it is in fact a dead end?
It appears to be, yes. Okay. Not that there hasn't been encounters with other groups on this level. As far as we know, we haven't gone that far, but the place is vast. I don't know where exactly you've explored, but I could say with surety that to the west, the undead roam. Be very careful there. And to the south.
Plumthorn on that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Plumthorn, on that note, would you be able to share the information of what rooms you've been on in your excursions down here? Perhaps we can share maps, one might say.
Yeah, so he describes to you like his general area. So, where they patrolled. So, why is that not showing up? Give me 1 second, folks. Okay, we're back. I'm having a little bit of trouble with having Owlbear show up, so I can't really show you. But Plumthorpe basically describes the general area that he patrolled, which was obviously his chambers, and then they would patrol the exits that basically surrounded the debouches. They would basically do a cycle around there, so they'd know generally around there. So like the magic mouths, the one that spoke with Thoth's voice and then Set's voice that mocked them, right? They are aware of the pyramid room, although they don't go in there, right?
Okay.
Do they know what's to the south of the debouche room? That's sort of the one channel we haven't been in.
That is south of the debouche room.
Yeah,
that is south. So what they tell you, what Plumthorn tells you is that they've only gone as far as that main corridor that connects the pyramid to some of the other rooms to the east. They know that for a fact that because they've come into contact briefly and with highly organized, ruthless, disciplined, and what he warns is best avoided troops of beastmen with that they call themselves the Tagma.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know exactly what that word means, but it sure sounds similar to what and based upon the kind of uniforms that they were wearing, the military outlook that they all have, it must be related to the old word tagmata, which was the word for a cohort of the imperial legions. They all have either the heads of dogs or sheep or rats, and they are well disciplined. They wanted no business with me or my kind, even though I offered them mortality. They would have none of it. and they said that it would be an affront to their goddess that they worship, named Dino was her name. They wouldn't reveal anything else about her, but they are firmly encamped in the southern regions. They appear to be intelligent and people that you can talk to should you not cross them, but I would strongly recommend avoiding them if all possible. I've witnessed as well that the Setites, the Set cultists, are active in the halls. I thought I'd never see the day. In fact, I thought that they were prescribed religion, but they are very active here in the halls. I've seen the hooded figures. Sometimes I've heard from up top too, from some of Cronus and Estelle's people, that they are fronting themselves as if they are sages of some sort, or monks, and I've seen them moving about this level, moving between the western areas and the southern areas, with the west riddled with undead. It makes me a little bit worried about what exactly they're doing with the undead over there. Frankly, I'm looking forward to, even if I'm in chains, to be leaving these halls, because it was getting a little bit too dangerous for me. Yeah. So
that is interesting. We have heard about the hooded figures out to the west. Must be the same guys.
He concurs that it is probably likely the case. He is convinced, even though he is told his halflings to remain far away from them, that they are Setites themselves and therefore proscribed. He tells you that the easiest access to the upper levels is a staircase that's south of the entrance to the catacombs, and he points to the west. He says,
wait. Entrance to the upper levels from a staircase south of the catacombs. So
Yeah.
does he mean that figure eight sort of shape there where we found all those old tombs?
No. There's actually, if you go past where the feather of Ma'at was, that's where the catacombs begin. That's where the danger. That's where the danger truly is. Yes, the smell is horrific down there. We definitely don't go past there. But there's a room that demarcates the beginning of the catacombs with portcullises all around and levers that raise and lower them that keep the undead from coming through. Although every once in a while some sneak in. I remember not too long ago there were skeletons that had arrived. But to the south of that room, there is a stairway that leads directly to the upper levels. Now, the lower halls, you can access via spiral stairs to the south. The lower halls themselves are creepy, dangerous places. He says, not meant for halflings. But I can tell you this, from what I've heard from those we extorted, it's not built, those levels are not built by the Thoth priesthood nor the Archontians. The spiral stairs to the south leads to a huge cave next to a cursed pillar-ridden hall. You'll know where the stairs are. If you head directly south, there is a monkey on the wall. You press both of its eyes, it will reveal access to the stairways down. The last little juicy piece of info that I can give you is that you and the Darlings are not the only adventurers that have been down here. There's a party led by a fat man wearing a turban. We overheard them weeks ago, congregated around the debouchement, around the statue in the center there. They were discussing raising the left hand of 3 statues parallel to the ground, the left hand, and seemed quite excited when they were looking at this statue. However, I and my gang can only account for 2 of the statues, the one in the debouchement and the one directly through the western door. I don't know this third that they speak of.
It's in the baboon room, right, guys? Remember there was one up there with the chasm?
Where the spiders are, right?
Moon over my ibis and the baboon clubbing the crocodile in the eye.
What they were speaking about in hushed tones that we overheard before we came out and extorted them, he smiles again, is that they are convinced that the positioning of those arms with those statues would reveal a secret passage
I agree.
Somewhere
Sure.
nearby.
Well, I think we should check that out, maybe.
Absolutely.
Now, with all that information, I don't see how you could possibly find it within you to actually give me up to the goblins. A fate worse than death.
I mean, I'm sure they would probably treat you just as well as you treated them.
I'd
You
just like
seem
to
like
lay
you
eyes
belong in-
on poor Carloman before I die.
Ay.
Cool.
All right.
A
Well,
lot to process. How many of his compatriots are in our care as well?
There's 5.
5.
Yeah. Now, gentlemen, listen. It's just business. Of course, it goes without saying that should you free me and my compatriots here, allow us to keep our small little corner of the Halls of Arden Vul, we of course would allow you free passage. We have no ability to actually to extort you anymore. We don't have any means to produce mortality anymore. You've killed our alchemist. But
I have a counter proposition, my friend, or should I say, a curiosity. Has the goblin leader seen your face or just heard you by name?
I've only, what is his name? Whiskin Whisk? Sounds like a fairy tale to me. I'm sure they have some squat, fat goblin that they've decorated with feces and called it a crown. And
hey,
You
It's
might
right
want
here.
to rethink your little bit of racism there, my friend.
It's a little. Well, here's what I will say, my friend. I so appreciate the information you've given us. So much that I think maybe with a little bit of sleep, perhaps in one of these lovely sarcophagi, you might extract from that diminutive brain of yours more information if we should need it.
No, not in the sarcophagus, please.
No, they're very
and-
comfortable.
and in the
People sleep in there
meantime,
for a really
perhaps-
long time.
And in the meantime, perhaps, do any of these compatriots of yours look like a plum thorn to you?
Look like a plum thorn?
Look
He
like
wants you
a
to-
plum thorn to you.
I'll be like, Plumthorn, he wants you to give up one of your pals.
as you.
Oh.
I'm fishing to know if he would be willing to claim that one of his compatriots was him to be given to the Goblin King.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
Should the need
Patrick's gonna
do we
deny
need
it.
to do that? I'm putting the
Gotcha.
seed in his mind to see where he's at on that.
Yeah, he's like, let me think about it. Absolutely. He has no problem with that. Now, me as the GM, you don't know if reliable reports of what Plumthorn looks like have reached the Goblin King's ears, right? But
course.
he's all for that, absolutely. But he quickly gets a little bit frantic. He's like, if there's anything else you want to know, just ask me. I really would rather not sleep inside the sarcophagus. Terrible for the back. Please not.
I'm curious. I mean, you collect coin. This is true. But you also collect items from people. Where do you store the items before you bring them up? You say you bring them up to the inn, but we haven't seen any items down here.
Well, we have some of the weaponry that we had was magical, of course. You found some of our treasure, but we regularly trade it. The true value with Kronos and Estelle, the true value comes from mortality. That's where the real money is.
We you aren't going to be needing your axe or your bow any longer, obviously, because you're not down here going to be doing this business.
Take them. They're fine weapons.
What are their? Are these magical? Are these interesting in any way?
No, I just don't need magical weapons. I just need a sharp blade.
Coated with deadly poison.
I am not a man of violence, frankly. In fact, it was just a short while ago that I picked it up for the first time in weeks. Was it due to a threat of violence against me and my person?
That's weird.
You speak of Kronos and Estelle, my friend, and having done business with them for quite some time, I'm sure you have a bit of intuition about their motivations, perhaps. Their larger plans. Maybe the organization of their inn being more than what it might seem. Could you tell us anything about them and their affiliates?
They are what's the word for it? Posers, I suppose.
I see.
They're criminals in training or criminals in wanting. They've managed to carve out a small little niche out there, similar to what we've done down here as well. But they don't really have any good business, and sooner or later they're going to irritate the wrong person or the wrong dragon, and they're going to be wholly destroyed. But they are wily. They have survived this long. We've maintained a good relationship with them, but don't trust them. Don't trust them. I'm sure they've got a stash somewhere, probably below the bar. But as far as a home base of sorts up on the Rune City, I suppose there's not much else you can do. I do know for one thing for a fact, they are paying off that dragon.
I mean, that would make sense. They are like right there.
They pay tribute to it. Who knows what the dragon's desires are, but I know for a fact that they make, that Estelle herself actually makes journeys there every once in a while to and comes back. So take
someone
that
to tail at some point.
That's
interesting. I don't know. I'm trying to think of any other good questions here.
In the end, though,
does that
they're
brazier
relatively harmless.
How does that brazier work?
Ah, the brazier. Blandveg called it a tripod of heating, I believe. Let's see if we look through his notes here. Oh, yes, he made some notes. They burn continuously without a fuel source and provide warmth and light without smoke. That is the description of that item. But it cannot be like, I mean, you could technically carry it, but it'd be super awkward, right?
Right.
I'd probably say it's like a 3-slot item, and it would,
Yeah. I think the Daltons are getting that one. Pretty cool.
The mortality he can also explain to you. So the way that they concoct it using spider venom from the chasm.
Okay.
But it's the venom from the spider itself is pretty fast acting, and this is more of like an insidious, like you don't quite know that you have it until it comes too late. So it where is it here? Pretty simple. Each little vial is a dose. It has an onset of 2d4 rounds, so you never know when it's quite going to hit, but it doesn't hit automatically. Then after that onset hit period hits you, you're going to take 20 points of damage, and you can save for half.
Ooh.
So it's either 10 or 20. And as you know, in OSC, that's likely to kill almost anything it gets into.
Don't lick it.
So
all right.
It's pretty nasty.
Good to know.
Oh, I'm muted. I'm just talking away into the dark.
Thorn, is these 3 rooms? This is it for you? This is your whole realm? You guys don't have any more secrets.
This is their living quarters, but they claim all the areas around the debouchement. Basically, like within, I would say, like loosely, like a I don't know, like 80 foot circle, or past the debouche.
Right. Right.
I would like to ask him a couple more questions. I also think we should not forget about the other sarcophagi in here. But
right.
Plumthorn, you've bedded down in this little warm hole of yours for quite some time. Certainly you've heard a thing or two in the night. Have you spoken to Gog?
Gog. He kind of
Yes, Troll King.
Don't
Gog,
you know Gog?
of the Troll Elevators fame, of course.
the name.
Are you there?
Are you there, Gog? It's me, Plumthorn.
Well, there's the name of your episode.
He kind of thinks to himself, and he says, I myself don't know of this Gog, but I have heard people who have come up the spiral stairs from the south mention that a being by the name of Gog that waits below, a solitary figure, they said, and they claim that he was a troll is the word that they used. Of course, you've heard of the troll lifts, and I know that everyone speaks of the troll Thane and his mighty troll armies that lie down below that control the means of egress up and down the chasm. The truth of this, I don't know, for I certainly have not seen anything come up on our end of the chasm. I can tell you that much.
You're muted, David.
The chasm, you're muted. Yeah, chasm goes a lot further, huh?
It does. It goes down, down, down.
No, I meant to the southeast. It goes. What? Do you know?
Oh,
like we've got on our map here. I don't know, a few hundred feet of it.
He has no conception. Like basically,
Okay.
the map portion you have is probably like the limits of his vision, right?
Right.
Yeah. Give us 1 moment, folks. Okay, sorry about that little technical hiccup there, guys. Continue on. Go ahead.
We were asking about Gog, the troll elevators. I was going to ask, Plumthorn, I threw a lit bell down the chasm, and it seems to have snuffed out a few yards below. Is there any sort of magic or glamour or veil that you've known to exist?
Not that I know
we are in
of.
there.
Of course, should the creatures down below have seen it, perhaps someone caught it, kept it as trinket.
Fair enough.
The trolls themselves.
Gotcha. And lastly, have you heard the name Artax Rees before?
No.
Do you know anything of this strange glyphed portal of sorts across from where you slept every night? You never wondered what it was?
So he also begs, like he they never actually like shown. He's never even realized that was there because the creepers basically covered it, right?
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And they never bothered to like explore that direction. That was just sort of like useless to them. It was only Dalton.
Right.
Dalton was the first time that actually they wanted to cross over that in that direction, right? Yeah. So he tells you that Artax Rees is a name that does not speak of any language that he is aware of. Like it's not like an Arcantian based language or anything like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool. I don't know that I have any other questions I can think of going, but otherwise I would just search the sarcophagi unless you guys have some ideas.
Yeah, let's search. Let's find a nice, comfortable one for our friend to sleep in.
Tighten the chains up a little bit, pop the gag back in, and set him in a corner.
So
Thank you so much.
this time while you guys have been talking to them, you've noticed that Dalton's darlings have been conferring privately and quietly, sort of like behind you. And
Yeah, I'd like to talk to them actually.
they look like Dalton looks confident, but the other three of them look a little bit concerned and worried.
Yeah, Dalton, tell me what you're thinking, because I think I know.
Well, don't worry about it. It's a good victory for all of us. I myself am very tired. I'm very happy to have this as our territory now. Are you planning to stay here, or are you going back up to the Broken Head?
These guys all want to go upstairs.
Well, Nikasi's like, she's like, we are done here. Are we correct? She's like, I need to take my men back.
Yeah.
I think it would be wise if we went with the hired help. They show them the way to the inn so they can get the nice sleep.
Dalton also mentions too, like you would most likely, if you exit out the north side of the pyramid, like if you go down that way, you'll be sighted immediately by the guards. So it might not be as dangerous as you think. Maybe, who knows?
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I mean, there are a lot of us if we're going with the cohort.
Would Nicasia take her men to the inn rather than down the Arden Vader because it's so late?
Yeah, because it's like nighttime. Yeah.
All right, that makes sense to me. So I say to Dalton, so my guess now is you're thinking we all leave, and it's just the five of you trying to hold on to the territory. There, guys are a little nervous about it, aren't they?
Perhaps, but that's not a problem you have to worry about, gentlemen.
I recognize that was the deal. This is your territory. It's your problem. I'm just wondering if you have any feelings about what we do about Plumthorn and the goblins.
Well, so Dalton basically, what is he? he cannot afford to leave right now. He knows that if he leaves with you, it's basically a loss.
That's
so
it.
He wants it. He needs to stay and fortify and repair as much as he wants. So that's what he's going to do. He says we have a long night ahead of us and we're very, very tired, but we're going to do what we can but he hopes in the future that he has no say in basically what you're going to do with Plumthorn, but he hopes that whatever terms that you come to with the goblins, that it does not involve thwarting the interests of Dalton's darlings.
Right.
So they have to develop, like, now that Blondbeg is dead and there is no actual means for them to create mortality, that won't be part of the business, right? So you don't know exactly what his plans are. Like, is he going to set up an extortion thing again, or is he got other plans? Maybe he's going to use this as his own base. He doesn't know, or you guys don't know what he's going to do.
Right. So
there is one dangling concern, which is, as we discussed, Plumthorn and his 5 fellows. So regardless of what we decide with them in the long term, in the short term, they need somewhere to stay if we're not killing them. Are we taking them to Broken Head? Are we leaving them here with Dalton? What's the plan?
Well, this is what I wanted to ask Dalton. So first of all, I think that I don't really want to take him with. We've questioned Plumthorn. I don't want to hand him over to any authorities. I don't think it would be great if we showed up at the inn with Plumthorn in chains. I think they should stay here, all 6 of them.
Yvette kind of walks
they will live through the night? Sorry.
Yvette looks at Dalton, and Dalton nods, and Yvette kind of moves up to you, Mort. And she's not much taller than you, actually. She's kind of hunchback woman. And she kind of looks down and she says, Mort, you don't have to worry about this. Leave the halflings with us.
Yeah, they're going to kill the halflings. So,
they're probably going to hire them as help.
Right, sure.
As you see the skull holy symbol swaying.
Yeah.
I'll put my hand on Yvette's, on her arm there, and I'll say, the 5 halflings in a row over there, they're all yours. I'm sure you'll do the right thing. And I give her up.
You can count on it. Praise to Bellaton.
There,
hold on.
I was going to use the bargain with, but if you find a better bargain between now and what's getting back, I guess that's that's your prerogative.
There was some discussion about using them in Plunger Town. Has that been ditched?
I think it's just a headache.
All right.
What, you mean just shoving them through and having them like human landmines and just basically?
There are a lot of things we could do. All I'm saying is forfeiting the 6 of them, or five of the 6 of them now is forfeiting a pretty big asset, and it sounds pretty certain that they will not be alive in the morning. So if there's anything we want to, for instance, since we only have a few more minutes of the session, do with them, now would be the time to decide instead to take them with us or to find a way of keeping them in tow. We don't have to do that. I'm just throwing it out there because now's the time.
I don't see him as an asset. If I were the halfling, I would spend all my time trying to escape and thwart every plan that crazy burnt guy had come up to make me do, and I would definitely make his life miserable. Because I know I'm going to die one way or the other, so I might as well die pissing off the wizard.
Also, we're also going to an inn, and they don't have a prison cell we can put these guys in. We can't keep them.
I don't want to give Kronos any reason to think that, if he stabs us in the night, he'll get his buddy Plumthorn back. I don't think we should bring him along upstairs.
No, I agree. I think if we did anything with him, we would have to tie him up somewhere. But yes, I agree. So
okay, you're going to leave the 5 halflings with the Dalton's darlings. What are you doing with Plumthorn?
I think we should leave him here as well.
Okay, they're going to die. Just know that.
Well, maybe they kill Plumthorn. Maybe they know he's valuable to the goblins. So if they're smart, they'll hold on to him until the goblins show back up, and then they make their own deal without me there. Maybe, I don't know.
It does not seem to be what was indicated to us. So I would not assume some superior planning on their part when they had a dangling skull below her neck and one of these. Those halflings are being shoved into the chasm is what I'm gathering from this interaction.
That's fine. If they don't use a Plumthorn as a bargaining chip with the goblins, that's their problem. I don't care. because I wasn't going to try and bargain for my own access to the Goblin King and my own territory or anything like that. I was going to try and bargain for the safety of the Daltons. So if they don't want to do it,
In
no
fact,
skin off my teeth.
maybe we just tell them, okay, we set up this deal. Tomorrow at this time, you should bring Dalton down there and make your own deal.
So Dalton,
or not.
Dalton's no fool. So Dalton takes you aside and he's like, he goes, "We'll honor the deal." He said, "Don't worry about the 5 underlings, but Plumthorn will be here alive and well in the morning. What you have is a bargaining chip with the Goblin King. If you are able to get the Goblin King on your side, that will probably be good for us. We don't have any reason to ask you for the favor, but should you actually entreat with the Goblin King and use Plumthorn as leverage, if you would deign to ask them to not bother us, that would be most welcome. If we don't have the bargaining chip, that will just become even more difficult for us to establish that sort of relationship."
Right. All right.
I think
That's
that sounds
way
pretty
he
fun,
sees it.
actually.
Yeah.
We'll kick this down the road a little bit. Okay. Sounds good, Dalton. You guys enjoy your new territory. Enjoy all your copper pieces. I'm glad I don't have to carry them.
They give you fist bumps and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you guys, do you guys have enough? Well, actually, the Wine Dark cohort could actually help you haul out treasure and everything like that. So all that stuff that you want, that you took, you can take out with you. And you, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm assuming you're just going back up the debouchement and leaving, correct?
There were 2 other things that we want to do on the way out, and we've been there before, but you let me know like the degree of danger. We wanted to go back into that into the area with all the burial niches,
right,
the place
for the spear,
and to get that cool
I want that
spear.
Mm.
And then just go directly up north from there to get new Ma'at feathers for everyone who didn't have one before.
That is actually, sorry, go ahead.
We also still have not looked at the sarcophagi.
Okay.
Right, the other 6 sarcophagus, yeah.
Okay, so that is some delving. You're going to be doing a little bit of dungeon crawling before you leave. If you wish to do that before you go, do realize now that it is probably close to about 3 o'clock in the morning.
I would rather not wait on the sarcophagi till after Dalton has already camped here. So if that's something we pick up with at the beginning of next session, that's fine by me. But if there's a bunch of sarcophagi here, now's the time to take a look.
Yeah, that at least we have to do now.
There's a bunch of hidden treasures and stuff like that. Yeah, this is all stuff we
Is the rest of the stuff beside the sarcophagi, is that something that you want to do before you leave? Or do you want to tag it for when you come back in?
I'm not so concerned about the Ma'at feathers right away, but let's grab that
Nor am
spear.
I.
Okay. All right. So then we will have to stop it right here tonight, 10, because that might be a thing. So yeah, that's fine. We'll just leave it right here. Okay. They went absolutely well, Anwir went somewhere today.
Almost somewhere permanently.
But you collected a lot of treasure, a lot of information, and have made significant strides forward as far as the aim of the next delve. So that's very, very cool. All right, so that was very fun, guys. Thank you as always. Everyone, please don't forget that you've been watching 3D6 Down the Line, and please like and subscribe as normal. Please spread the word as we continue on from episode 27 on to the second delve. And we will see you guys all next time. Have a great week. See you next time, guys. Take care.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you, John.